On this one's a little different. We have a 1,500 kilogram car. So I'm going to do mass is 1,500 kilograms. And it's traveling to the right, and it has an engine pulling it towards the right with a force. So we're going to call that the applied force. You call it the force of the engine, whatever you want to do. And then it also has a force of friction of 3,200 directed to the left. So that's why we're getting that free body diagram you see above, and that's given to you on the test. They'll give you the free body diagrams for this type of question. You have your gravitational force at the bottom, which we'll need in a minute. You'll have your normal force that is equal to your gravitational force going upwards. Then you have the force to the right, which is that applied force. And then you have that force of friction, which is larger than that applied force. So that's why you see in that picture the force to the left is larger. So now we can kind of work on solving our problem. Okay, so for part A, we need to know the acceleration. Okay, so let's kind of, we know that our net force on our car is equal to the applied force minus the friction force. Okay, because they're in the opposite direction. Okay, and we know that net force is equal to mass times acceleration, and we know our applied force is 2050, so we don't have to solve for it, and we know our friction force is 3,200. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and solve for this friction force, or for these two forces, because I don't want to accidentally take one from the other side or screw something up. And you can also put parentheses here to remind yourself that those need to be done first. Okay. And now I can put my mass in. You could have put your mass in earlier. I just like to wait so I don't make a mess. Okay, and so now we'll have an acceleration of negative 0.77 meters per second. And that's important. It's in the negative direction, remember, because we have more friction force than applied force, so our car is actually going to go backwards, even though the engine is pulling it towards the right, because that friction force is more. Okay, now let's talk about our part B. Part B is asking you, what is the name of the upward force? And we've got that here, and that's the normal force. So BI, you can just write normal. And then it says, what is the name of the downward force? And that's your gravity force. So you can call it gravity. You can call it force due to gravity. Either of those are fine, and you'll get full points for that. So you'll get points for showing your work. You'll get points for your answer with units, and then you'll get points for naming these forces correctly.